Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome. We're about to go behind the scenes of the precious metals world. We're going to pull back that curtain, expose what's really happening, and break this information down. It is critical to be subscribed on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to keep you guys in the loop of what's happening, why the markets are acting that way, and what you should do about it. With that said, let's jump into the video. So the precious metals markets are very vulnerable, and it's because of these three words: speculation, skepticism, and sensible people. Unstable markets because people are mentally unstable right now. There's a lot up in the air. Nobody knows what direction things are going to go. Nobody knows how hard the dollar is going to be hit from this stimulus, and rightfully so. We're going to cover this article. We're going to break it down, and it's going to get interesting because they dive a little bit into comparing Bitcoin to gold and how Bitcoin could possibly take over gold or actually replace it. So I'm going to share my unbiased opinion because I've invested in a Bitcoin and I've invested in a precious metals, and actually I'm investing into them both right now, so I can give you guys a realistic perspective on this. And I'm definitely going to share what I think, right? Because a lot of these articles, they only invest into one or the other, so they kind of have a biased opinion. Kitco's a pretty reliable and respectable source of information, so I'm curious where they take this. I'm excited to jump in this. So let's go. Gold and silver. We remain highly skeptical of the bull case, especially following Federal Reserve projections of a choppy environment for the U.S. economy ahead. Certainly developing weakness in the dollar is a potential support for prices, but it could take a definitive breakout below 92 in the dollar index to spark enough currency-related interest to reverse this morning's initial downward bias. Investment in gold ETFs continue to roll over to the other markets, namely equities, and the gold market is not benefiting from what should have been a strong Indian demand session. However, an indirect support of prices and over-expanding list of forecasts that cryptocurrencies are poised for historical gains. To that point, it should be noted that a mainstream analyst yesterday predicted Bitcoin could trade to $40,000 next year. So let's stop right there. Bitcoin's around what, like 15,000 right now. Its highest it ever was around 18, 19,000. That's when I sold most of it, actually. I got really lucky on that, but that's not the point. The point is they're saying Bitcoin could double next year. And I get why, but I don't think a year is quick enough. And if it does happen in a year, I don't know if prices will stabilize there. And I'll tell you why. A year is a pretty short amount of time. Now, this pandemic has sped things up, so I definitely think it could happen quicker than a normal quote-unquote time frame, and when things have been quote-unquote normal. But I still don't think that's long enough, especially since there's so much happening. And I mean that this way. For a while, even heading into the next year, prices are going to be like a roller coaster. There's going to be a lot of choppiness. Things aren't going to start stabilizing until probably halfway into next year. So that means it's around 6 months for the prices to really take off. And with that said, $40,000 is too high. It will not stay there. Look back when Bitcoin was $18,000 before. It crashed because it rose too fast. It went up, 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 up. So then it crashed. If you want a price, if you want your asset to stay at a height, it has to slowly build up. It has to stabilize. Let's talk about Bitcoin's $40,000. It would have to get up to $20,000, breaking through its all-time highs, and then it's probably going to sell off a little bit because people are going to be, selling like hotcakes, and then it's probably going to go up to like 25, 26, and then go down to 24, and then go up to like 30, and then it probably is going to drop a little bit, and then it's going to go up to 35, and that takes time for all that stuff to happen. Now, Bitcoin it's not like gold and silver. It is much faster paced, so it could probably do that. Do I want it to do that? I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's definitely going to be bullish for gold, as they even go along and say in this article, the next couple sentences. But I don't know if $40,000 is realistic. I mean, if it is realistic, I'm going to minimize. Actually, I'm going to give you the minimal on this channel because I don't want to mislead you. I don't want to give you false hope. I don't want you to have expectations that are just, very risky or just not even going to happen. I was actually talking to someone today. Someone emailed me saying, Slayer, you people are projecting $100 silver in the next 5 years. Why do you always say it's going to take longer than that? Well, I say, well, here's the thing. It could happen in 5 years, but the reality of that is very slim. And if it did, it's just, I'm going to minimalize it. I'm not going to tell you guys to expect $100 silver in 5 years, because that could affect how you invest right now. And if there's a good chance it's not going to happen, or if I don't think it's going to, I'm going to minimalize it. I'm not going to tell you for sure $100 silver in 5 years, go all in right now and no, I'm not going to do that. There's always a chance, especially right now with crazy things happening. You can expect crazy prices, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be a silver pumper. I want you guys to have a realistic idea of the markets and how they're going to move. Now, if things start to show that later on, early next year, that it could happen that way, then, I might adjust my opinion. But right now, given the circumstances, given the information, given the charts, I'm going to tell you how I feel. And that's why you're subscribed to my channel, right? So anyways, let's keep going on. I just want to make that point right there. So on the other hand, it is not a given that an explosion in Bitcoin would translate into significant gold gains in gold, as many Bitcoin think it's a replacement for gold. While UK prices measure overnight signaled the potential for inflation, the trade remains hesitant to embrace that view. Yesterday, gold and silver ETFs saw outflows, with gold posting a fourth straight day of declines, and the largest gold ETF seeing its holdings fall to its lowest level in 4 months. Infection counts have sparked new restrictions on restaurants, bars, gyms, and other venues, and we think the trade will adopt a deflationary selling instead of a flight to quality buying posture. So we have a lot of information there, and I got to remind you guys, folks, this is looking at things from a very short-term perspective. We know the short-term is going to be a roller coaster. Take this stuff. Don't take this stuff too lightly. It's a lot of theory. It's a lot of assumptions, and it's going off predictions. I mean, it even talks about predictions. It's all looking at what could happen and how that could affect the markets, and that's why we break this stuff down and look at the realistic possibility and also the probability of it happening. Now, that's great for investing, but we also have to be realistic. We also have to look at the different outcomes. We also have to look at what's happening right now and how it's going to affect things from the medium to long term as well. Precious metals, we only look at the medium to long term. We know prices are going to be crazy. Like I said in the beginning of this video, they even said it in the title. Gold and silver is vulnerable, and it's vulnerable because there's so many things happening that people could take things left, right, center, up, down, sideways, and it's going to have an immediate effect. But that's not the point we're investing. We're investing as most of us are, preservation of wealth. We're not planning on selling for 10, 15, 20 years, right? And if you are selling within this 3 to 5 year range, then you might want to take things a little more serious right now, because the time is definitely ticking. Most of us, 3 to 5 years, we're still going to be accumulating silver, in that time frame. Let me know when you plan on selling. Actually, I should probably do a poll or something on this channel. Let me know when you plan on selling, because then I can gauge better on the idea of where my audience is, because that could definitely affect how you stack the coins you should be buying, or the types of silver you should be buying, and that compared to gold as well. So anyways, it appears that leadership in the PGM markets has shifted to platinum, with the trade recently presented with a series of dramatic deficit forecasts, which, if fulfilled, would mean the platinum market saw deficits in 7 of the last 10 years. The World Platinum Investing Council this morning suggested that deficit would be 4 times as large as its initial forecast, based on a combination of lower supply from the virus mining shutdowns and structural problems, but also from an improvement demand. Their projections call for a deficit of 1.2 million ounces this year, with a 2021 deficit projection of 224,000 ounces. So, I'm not going to really look into platinum and palladium, because most of us, that's not our focus. Market ideas. And actually, I want to take this a different way. Do you guys invest in other metals besides gold and silver? Or you could even take it, because most of us, it is gold and silver. What is your perspective? What's your ratio? What's your percentage? Mine, Probably, I'd probably say a healthy ratio for me personally is probably like 75% silver, 25% gold. Probably something along those lines. Meaning that translate for me out to like every 100 ounces of silver, I'll accumulate an ounce or two of gold. Something around those lines. Like 100 ounces of silver, maybe an ounce of gold. Something like that. And that looking forwards, that's probably a balanced portfolio for me. But if you guys, I'd love to hear yours. And also compared to other metals like platinum, palladium, copper, do you guys invest into that stuff, and why? That's the most important. You could say, yeah, I do, but that's not really saying much unless you explain why you do. Get what I'm saying? So they talk about the importance of copper and with China involved and all this other stuff, but the whole point of this video was mainly talking about how sensitive the markets are and why we're going to see a lot of choppiness, a lot of bipolar prices, because people are bipolar right now, right? There's nothing stable happening whatsoever, and we're not really going to see that until next year. And even when next year happens, when stimulus gets thrown out, when all this stuff happens with the shortage of silver, with the supply crunches, with what's going to happen with this pandemic, and when the numbers are going to start dropping instead of rising, and when a vaccine is going to come out, and how that's going to be distributed, and how, like, there's still so much. You get what I'm saying? We really can't expect anything to be stable right now because the economy's not stable. So with that said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. If you thought this video was educational, informational, at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. Every single day, I'm giving you guys the latest information, what's happening in the market, what you should do about it. You got to be subscribed. I'm not telling you guys to subscribe for the sake of me. It's for the sake of you, right? I don't care about my video views. I don't care about my subscribers. I want people to get this information so they can be stacking successfully. Right? I mean, I'm serious. You cannot be blindly investing. You can't be missing out on this information and expect to be investing profitably. Blindly investing, just buying silver when you feel like it and selling it when you feel like it. That's not gonna work. There's too many things happening nowadays. Too many things affecting the market. Once upon a time, that might have worked. Right? There's way too much going on. Markets are shifting, right? The markets are ever changing. The dollar's strength is ever changing. People are ever changing. It's all ever changing. We got to learn how to adapt and adjust, and this is the way to do it. That's why you subscribe to me, because I will give you guys on a daily basis the inside scoop, the daily dose that you need to know, the relevant stuff. I'm not going to talk about stuff you don't need to know. And yeah, so with that said, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.